The NASCAR Cup Series race has officially concluded from Indianapolis, and we see some pretty solid racing up front, good strategy, and Michael McDowell putting up a dominating clinic and picking up the victory at Indianapolis. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Cup Series race on the Indianapolis road course of Verizon 200. We had quite a bit to talk about from this race. Let's go and talk about it. So for the green flag drop in today's race, Brody Kosecki, William Byron will be the only two drivers that have to go to the rear of the field. Brody Kosecki crashed during the second round of the first round of qualifying, and William Byron, who went to the rear for failing inspection before the race even began, and would also have to do a pass-through. So at the start of the race, he had Daniel Suarez lead the field from the inside with Tyler Reddick on the outside, and Daniel Suarez got a really strong start and was able to clear for the race lead. There was a little bit of contact in the back between Shane Van Gisbergen and Chris Ball, with everything would stay green. As they're coming to complete lap 1, William Byron would come down the road to do his pass-through. Then on lap number 2, we saw a crash between Kamui Kobayashi, where he got turned by Andy Lally. And then we saw the only caution race come out of lap number 2 for Justin Haley, who got turned by Joey Logano. Joey Logano made a really bonehead move, especially in lap number 2. He missed a corner, jumped made a little bit of a jump, went back across the racetrack, and Justin Haley hit the inside tire barrier, bringing the only caution out. So then we would see Brad Keselowski, Mike Rockefeller, Kamui Kobayashi, William Byron, Ray Sounds Jr., Ty Dillon come down per road, while the rest of the field stay out. So then at this restart, you had Daniel Suarez lead the field from the inside with Tyler Reddick on the outside. And as they were going down the straightaway, Joey Logano just went and really dive bombed into the corner like he did last year in this race and sent it and ran in the back of Ryan Blaney, and he spun himself out. Meanwhile, turn number 8, we saw Ty Gibbs get turned by Shane Van Gisbergen. And while that was going on, Michael McDowell was able to get the race lead. Then we saw a little strategy going on. First, Kevin Harvick come down pit road. Then we saw Austin Cindric, Ryan Blaney, Todd Gillen, and Joey Logano come down pit road along with Jenson Button. He would get a speeding penalty. For the next few laps, he had Chase Briscoe and Chris Buescher. They came down pit road. And at this point, Michael McDowell actually would go on and win stage number 1. Then the next lap, you had Brody Kosecki, Tyler Reddick, and Allmendinger come in. And then McDowell and Suarez then would come down the road along with Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman, Ross Chastain. And Daniel Suarez actually beat Michael McDowell off road after Suarez really sent it in there, did a really good job entering pit road. And Michael McDowell was able to be thrown in second. And then we see Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, and Corey LaJoie come down the road, and Corey LaJoie would get a speeding penalty. And then after all the green flag pit stops happened, you had a lot of the leaders stay out. You would have Daniel Suarez, Michael McDowell, and Chase Elliott up front, who would be the 3 leaders. Then Kyle Larson on lap 27, he basically would miss turn number 12 from 8th position and would have to come to a stop, had basically a flat spot at the time. Then on lap number 30, we saw some trouble for Ryan Blaney, who got into the back of A.J. Allmendinger. He spun him out, racing for 16th at the time, and Allmendinger was not very happy with Ryan Blaney. At this point, he had Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski were staying out trying to go long, while you had guys like Michael McDowell, Daniel Suarez, and Chase Elliott coming up to them. McDowell would get by Keselowski, but not catch Denny Hamlin, and Denny Hamlin would win stage number 2. Then on the next slide, we saw Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski come down the road, handing the lead to Michael McDowell after Daniel Suarez also got dropped back a little bit as well. Then we saw a little bit of bump and run happen between Daniel Suarez and Chase Elliott, where Daniel Suarez bumped Chase Elliott out of the way to get up to second position. And then we saw the final pit stops today pretty much happen. Chase Briscoe, Kyle Larson, Austin Cindric, and Brody Kosecki came down pit road. Then we saw Michael McDowell, Daniel Suarez, Chase Elliott, and Tyler Reddick, all the top 4, come down pit road at the time. Daniel Suarez actually would come down second, close in a little bit, coming to pit stop, but unfortunately, Daniel Suarez had a terrible pit stop, and the air gun got caught under the left front tire of the car, and would have a 20-second pit stop, dropping him out of contention at least for the victory. So once other green flag pit stops happened, it came down to a little bit of strategy. Then you actually had some stuff happening where Ricky Stenhouse Jr. spun Jenson Button. Then Kyle Busch had a terrible corner, had a flat spot tire, was also complaining about engine issues as well. Then you had Todd Gillen get into the outside wall. I thought that was going to be a caution, but he was able to continue. Then you had contact between Jenson Button and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And then you saw Ricky Stenhouse Jr. get to spin Kobayashi. And then at this point, the final incident today came out where A.J. Allmendinger got off the racetrack at turn number 4, but the field was able to stay green. So at this point, it was a race between Michael McDowell and Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott definitely had a little bit of a faster car, at least at points, but because Chase Elliott had a different shift pattern going on at the time, Michael McDowell was able to keep the lead and was getting helped by the traffic. And he was getting held up by the traffic just a little bit, but inevitably, Michael McDowell was able to pass the traffic. So at this point, I'm thinking, can Chase Elliott get around the traffic? And if he can get around it, can he catch Michael McDowell? As he came around to the white flag, though, Michael McDowell had a pretty big lead over Chase Elliott, about a 1.5 second lead. Elliott had closed the gap. Chase Elliott cuts the gap under second, tries to run him down, and it will not happen as Michael McDowell comes off the final corner, picks up his first victory of the 2023 NASCAR Cup Series season, and leads the most laps he's ever led in a race, holds off Chase Elliott to also get his second career NASCAR Cup Series victory. I am absolutely stoked for Michael McDowell. Michael McDowell, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated NASCAR drivers in the field today. Everyone says the 2021 Daytona 500 win was a fluke, and some people say he caused a wreck to win the Daytona 500. But this one, he just put up a straight-up whooping. And while I don't think at points he did have the fastest car, I think most of the day he did have the fastest car. That 34 was really, really good in practice. I think they were the fastest car overall in practice. So I expected McDowell to be really, really strong today. But I was not expecting him to dominate. So for him to dominate like he did today was really, really awesome. I'm so happy for Michael McDowell. They've been really strong this year. They've had pace. They've had speed all year. And it's just really cool to see a team like Front Row Motorsports. And they signed a one-year contract extension with Michael McDowell this week. So talk about completing a really good week for Michael McDowell. He and Todd Gillen are returning to Front Row next year in 2024 and ending the week by winning his second career race in Indy Road Course. It's crazy to think that second career wins have happened at this track. 2021, A.J. Allmendinger did it, Tyler Reddick did it in 2022, and now you have Michael McDowell doing it. I'm so happy for this guy, really pumped for him. I'm really happy to see Michael McDowell pick up the victory. He deserves it, and I'm so happy to see Ford get another victory as well. And McDowell becomes, I believe, now just the third-team driver to win, actually the fourth-team driver to win this year. Congratulations to Michael McDowell on picking up the victory. So now we'll talk about the race results, and I'll give you my thoughts and score on the overall race. So Michael McDowell picks up the victory. Chase Elliott finished the second. His best performance definitely since coming back from the injury. I thought he would have had something for McDowell at the end, but nonetheless, a really good day for him. Just unfortunately, with McDowell being below the cutoff line, now Chase Elliott's going to pretty much, for sure, in a must-win situation. But good to see Chase Elliott have a really strong run today in second place. Great run for him. Daniel Suarez finished his third. I think Suarez was really the best car outside of Michael McDowell today. Led early, won the pole, thought he was going to have a chance to win. Unfortunately, that pit stop cost him a shot at the victory, but he's got to be happy with that finishing third. Probably wanted to win the race, but he does finish third. But he's been getting better and better the last couple weeks, so good to see Daniel Suarez finish in third. Tyler Reddick finishes fourth. Reddick had about a fourth to fifth place car most days. Thought he would be more of a threat in a contender because remember, he dominated this race last year in 2022. But he does finish fourth, so a very solid run for Tyler Reddick. I feel like Reddick's team does a good job getting a better car. He finishes in fourth. Alex Bowman finishes fifth. Very quiet and solid day overall. Ran a really strong race. A lot of the bubble guys had really good days as well. So fantastic day for Alex Bowman in his fifth place. That's his best run since coming back from his injury as well. Great run from Alex Bowman in fifth. Chase Briscoe finished sixth. Great run for Chase Briscoe. Struggled early, but they definitely got their car better throughout the weekend and gets a very solid top 10 finish. Great run for Chase Briscoe. Mark Truex Jr. finished seventh. Thought he'd be a little more of a threat today. Didn't just have the overall pace and speed to win, but still a very solid top 10 run. Good day for Mark Truex Jr. in seventh. Kyle Larson finished eighth. I think Kyle Larson might have had something for these guys today, if not for an issue where he had that flat spot of missing the corner, but still a pretty solid day for Kyle Larson. Another top 10. That's like his 14th or 15th top 10 finish of the year. So even though he's been inconsistent at times, still finishing top 10 is a solid day for Kyle Larson, but I think he could have had something for McDowell and Chase today. Chris Bell finishes ninth. Bell was really good in practice. Thought it would translate to the race today, and unfortunately, it didn't really translate, but still a very solid top 10 finisher, Bell, in ninth place. Shane Van Gisbergen rounds at the top 10 in 10th place. While he doesn't win the race today, he still had a pretty solid run. They just didn't have the car to win today, but still, Shane Van Gisbergen, great to see him in the field. Thought he might have a chance to go to victory lane. He was actually my pick coming this weekend because I thought he was going to be a threat. And he was good at times, was in the top 10 early, never really got above 8th position, but hey, you know what? It is what it is. A very solid day for Shane Van Gisbergen. Doesn't continue the perfect score of wins he's had, but nonetheless, good to see him finish in the top 10. Chris Buescher finished 11th. Thought Buescher was going to be more of a threat today, to be honest. We know how good Chris Buescher is at road courses. He had a good run in Sonoma, so I thought that'd translate today, but still a decent run for him in 11th place. Ty Gibbs finished 12th. Very solid recovery for Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs, I think, had one of the fastest cars this weekend. Unfortunately, got spun early and cost him a shot at a great day, but he does recover, finish 12th. Solid day for him. Ryan Blaney finished 13th, had his incident with AJ Allmendinger. I wonder if they've talked about the after race. I'm not sure if they have or not, but solid day for Blaney in 13th. William Byron finished as 14th. Byron, of course, had to start at the rear, and they only used one caution really get back up front. If there had been more yells, I feel like William Byron could have been closer to front. They've been a little bit struggling over these last few months, but nonetheless, does finish in the top 15 and 14th. Austin Cindric finishes 15th. Thought Cindric would be more throw. It was pretty fast in practice earlier this week, so disappointed to finish 15th. Again, he's been a little bit off on road course compared to last year, but he does get a solid top 15. Austin Dillon finished 16th with decent run, all things considered. Austin Dillon historically has not been great at road courses, so good to see Austin Dillon finish in 16th place. Ross Chastain finished 17th. Again, Ross Chastain, outside of a couple really strong runs like Michigan National, he's been pretty much non-existent. Even Daniel Suarez, I think, has been better than him at a lot of times recently. So he does finish in the top 20, though, but just kind of a disappointing day for Ross Chastain. Bubba Wallace finishes 18th. Bubba Wallace had a pretty decent day considering the road courses, but unfortunately with Michael McDowell winning, Bubba is now 28 points. Only 28 points above the cutoff line. And unfortunately, a lot of guys on that bubble had a really, really good day. He's got to get better on the road courses, but he ran better today than I expected. He was in the top 20 pretty much all day long. So he's definitely a major step in the right direction on the road courses. Hopefully, going to Watkins Glen, he can run a little better. He finishes 18th, but not a bad run, all things considered. Denny Hamlin finishes 19th. He was pretty much non-existent. Yes, he got the stage win, but they never really had the pace and speed all weekend, which is disappointing. He finishes 19th. And Brad Keselowski finished 20th. A big improvement, all things considered. Keselowski the last few years has not been great on road courses, so this is definitely a big improvement for Brad Keselowski in 20th. Harrison Burton finished 21st. Decent run for him. Brody Kosecki finished 22nd. Thought Brody was going to be a threat today. He kind of struggled throughout the day, but at times was in the top 20, and he really didn't have a lot of experience coming in it, so he does finish in the top 25, but probably a disappointing weekend for him. Kevin Harvick finished 23rd. Harvick did recover a little bit, but Kevin Harvick has not been great on road courses, all things considered, and I thought he was going to struggle, and unfortunately, his last race in Indianapolis, he unfortunately did that. Mike Rockefeller finished 24th. Decent run for the Legacy Motor Club team. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finished 25th. Was kind of wrecking ball throughout the day. AJ Allmendinger finished 26th. Man, a really disappointing day for Allmendinger, who I thought might have been had a chance to contend. He was awful this weekend. Was like 30th in practice. They never had the pace and speed. Had the issues of Ryan Blaney. And just overall, not a good day for Allmendinger in 26th. Ty Dillon finished 27th. Jenson Button finished 28th. Corey LaJoie had a speeding penalty, finished 29th. Qualified really well this weekend, but unfortunately just struggled throughout the day. And Andy Lally finishes 30th. Ryan Preece finished 31st. Josh Blizzard finished 32nd. Kamui Kobayashi finished 33rd. Kind of a disappointing day for Kobayashi, but he did have issues on the racetrack and didn't have cautions to help him out. I feel like Kamui could have been more of a threat today if there had been some cautions to help, but he finishes 33rd. Joe Logano finished 34th. Just a really disastrous day for Logano. He's really the only weapon out on the racetrack, maybe outside of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Had his issues early with Justin Haley, and then, of course, had his issues where he basically got in the back of Ryan Blaney. Just overall a disappointing day for Joey Logano. Eric Jones finishes 35th. They were complaining about transmission issues from what the broadcast had said. Kyle Busch finishes 36th. Kyle Busch had one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, and at times is faster than even the top three. Unfortunately, they were complaining about engine issues and maybe some misfires on the engine, and then he had that flat spot that cost him a good day. Unfortunately, finished 2 laps down in 36. A really tough break, as Kyle Busch had been the only driver coming this weekend, had finished in the top 5 in all 3 of the previous road course races, so really disappointing for Kyle Busch to finish in 36. Todd Gillen finished 37th after hitting the outside wall, and Justin Haley finishes in 38th. And Eric Almirola finished 39th. I don't know what happened to Eric Almirola. He apparently has something go wrong where he finishes in last. Maybe I think it was on pit road and something was going wrong with that car. So now, let's talk about the overall race as a whole, and I'll give you my score of today's race. Honestly, the Indy road course of previous 2 years had not been very good. I will say this is definitely the best race at the Indy road course since we went to the Indy road course. Now, I still would like to see them go on the oval once again in 2024. It does sound like it's pretty likely that's going to happen next year, with rumors IndyCar maybe going to Milwaukee as well. But I thought this race actually was pretty good. The first half of the race I thought was really, really intriguing. You had the top 3 really close together. You had Daniel Suarez, Chase Lane, and Michael McDowell. Really, I think all 3 were pretty much the 3 fastest cars throughout the whole entire day. It's just that once they had the issues on pit road for Daniel Suarez, kind of took, I think, the car could have beat McDowell out of contention, but nonetheless, I thought the first half was good. The second half was a little bit uneventful near the end, but hey, it's really cool to see an underdog upset victory in Michael McDowell. So if I had to go through the first half, I give the first half overall 9 out of 10. The second half kind of drops the score down to, I think, about a 6.5. I'm going to give today's race overall a 7.5 out of 10. Like I said, it was the best Indy road course race I've ever seen. At times it was boring. I did enjoy it, though. 7.5 is my score. It was a pretty good race overall. Enjoyable for road course standards, because road course have been good at times and also bad at times. I don't think this race is better than Chicago. I don't think it was better than maybe the Coda race, but it was definitely a pretty good race in my opinion. I absolutely enjoyed it. So, that is going to today's NASCAR Cup Series race review from the Indianapolis Road Course. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe to the channel, notifications on so you know if I win a video does go live on my channel. Follow me Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as per my Patreon as well. Links description below that, and comment your thoughts below on today's race. Your thoughts about today's race at the Indy Road Course, let me know below. Let me know your score in the comments below. And congratulate Michael McDowell on picking up the victory. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, of a NASCAR news, we'll be discussing news over the last couple days, and we're also going to have the Xfinity Series race picks for Watkins Glen. Then on Tuesday, we'll have a video talking about Hailie Deegan and where I think she could go in 2024 when it comes to her future. Then on Wednesday, we're going to have a NASCAR news video on the channel as well. Then Thursday, we'll have race picks for the NASCAR Cup Series race at Watkins Glen, followed by the season and finale for the Asterix race at Wheatland, also known as Lucas Oil. Friday, another NASCAR news video. We got a lot of content dropping on this channel. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.